Hello, everyone, and welcome to Art at Chaparral. I know this is not how we all expected the year to start, but I really like to think of this as an opportunity to really be innovative and challenge ourselves to be creative thinkers. So I think it's going to be a great year, so let's go ahead and get started. So this class is called Graphic Narrative. It's different from the other 7th grade art class, which is Principles of Art. It's a regular art class. But graphic narrative is the art of telling stories with pictures. So students will be learning about character design and storytelling and how to construct a narrative using images. And we're going to be constructing some things like that and learning all about telling stories with pictures. We're also going to be learning about the history of graphic narrative and of narrative art. So from cave paintings through hieroglyphics through medieval scrolls and ancient Japanese scrolls, all the way through 20th century comics and graphic novels. So we're going to, a large part of it is learning a little bit of art history, specifically focusing on narrative art. So this class is regularly taught as a digital art class, digital illustration, where we use an app called Procreate. Procreate is a paid app for the iPad only. So for those of you who already have that at home, that's great. You're welcome to use that. However, here are some other free and cross-platform apps that you can use. Autodesk Sketchbook. We'll be introducing all of these apps in class and showing you a little bit about how they work. But they all work on Mac, PC, Android, iPhone, iPad. So no matter what type of device you have, it's going to work out for you. Autodesk Sketchbook, which is the one on top, and Sketch.io, those are traditional drawing apps. But they're pretty powerful. They use layers. They've got really good brush support. And Sketch.io can actually be done in a browser, so you don't even have to download anything. Gravit Designer has both an app and a browser interface as well, but it's more of an Adobe Illustrator type of product. So, and I'll be introducing that to the students as well, and that'll be an option for them to create comics or create their art and do their drawings. So, since we have a lot of challenges this year, I want to make sure students have other ways to explore making their art for this class. If students choose to use regular pencil and ink, like the old traditional ways of creating comic images and graphic narrative images, that's fine. But if they want to explore other ways of creating, such as this is an example of doing a watercolor painting using coffee. Here's an example of creating artwork with collage. Taking things cut up from magazines or junk mail or anything like that and putting them together into pictures. And we will be using those pictures to tell stories. So our main project, which will come in the second quarter, it's our big project, is students will be making their own comic book. They'll be picking a comic book genre. They'll be learning how to storyboard. They'll be it's basically an original work of art that challenges their creativity and their storytelling skills. And again, they're going to be storyboarding. They're going to be writing a script. We're going to be putting a lot of time. There'll be lots of different steps. So it's not really just one project. It's actually several projects kind of strung together to create a big final project at the end of the semester. Character development is another key aspect of that. So in addition to the other things I've talked about, practicing drawing is really important. And I really want to help develop the love of drawing and creating and making. So I want them to just kind of practice on their own. So what I would like them to do is just do 2 drawings a week. I don't care what they draw. It can be anything that they want to draw, just as long as they're being creative. I encourage them to use these drawings as ways of exploring their stories, like character ideas or maybe settings for their stories or different things that might apply to any of the narratives they want to tell. But really, I don't grade anything except for the fact that they did it and that they're continuing their practice. I'm going to be checking the drawings every week. The drawings should be at least 15 minutes each, and that's all I'm really grading. I'm not grading them on what an amazing drawer they are, or on anything but time spent putting marks on paper. One other aspect of this class is reading. In order for them to really learn about comics, they're going to have to read some comics and some graphic novels. So we are going to have some reading assignments that go kind of throughout, including kind of writing like book reports on them, and relaying those reports back to students, and maybe presenting some of their books in class. And then I will also be providing some free resources where you can find some graphic novels and comics online. So the minimum tools for this class are two things. You will need either a laptop or a drawing tablet. If you don't have a drawing tablet, that's okay. You can use a laptop, or a desktop computer is also fine. If you don't have a desktop computer or a laptop computer and all you have is a tablet computer, that should be fine. What you really need to be able to do is you need to be able to go live on Zoom and work on a project at the same time, like going to Google Classroom, draw in Google, or not Google SketchUp, in Autodesk Sketchbook, or in Sketch.io, and do all of those things at the same time. What you should not be using for class in our class time is a cell phone. Cell phones are great tools, but they're not robust enough to really do all of these activities simultaneously, zooming and drawing. It's too small of a screen to draw on anyway. So you should not really be using a phone for your device. You can use a phone as a secondary device. Maybe you want to zoom on one phone and draw on a tablet or on a PC, whatever it is that you want to use. But it should not be a primary device. If you do need a device, and whatever you have does not work for that, you need to contact the WVUSD Tech Office, so you can get a device offered for you that you can use. So I just want to finish by saying that I really am looking forward to this class. This is one of my favorite classes to teach. I'm a big kind of comic book nerd. I go to Comic-Con every year. And I was great that I was able to build and create this class for kids, and kids really like it. It's one of their favorite classes that I teach. And I know we're going to have a lot of fun this semester. Creating narrative stories is a challenge. It's harder than people think to make images that make sense for people to read that aren't themselves, so that others can understand what it is that they're trying to say with their pictures. But as challenging as it is, I intend to put your kids up to the challenge and have fun while we do it. It's intended to be a very enjoyable class, and that really teaches students a lot about how to kind of work and have fun at the same time. If you have any questions or comments about anything, including materials or grades or anything about the class, feel free to contact me at the email below. And I know this is going to be a great semester, so let's go take it on.